The biggest bottleneck in using these frontier AI models is the token limit. So you plan to have a pro plan or a max plan for Codex or Claude, then you realize that that 5 hour of window or the limit you have is exhausted in just 1, 2 or max 3 hours. And then you are just waiting for the limit to reset in 5 hours. But wait, there is also a weekly limit. So there is a weekly limit, then 5 hour limit, and your mind is all pissed and all messed up because you don't know how to actually use these models to save the tokens and work inside your limit with all the freedoms. So in this video, I'm going to explain you 4 different ways so that you can save not only just your token, but also work with freedom within the limit of these paid AI model. But even if you are on the free plan, do not worry, these tips will going to help you even on the free limit also. So I have structured this, you can say the framework as a SEND. Now what SEND is? SEND. S stands for switching the model, E stands for editing the conversation, N stands for new conversation, and D, which is mind-blowing and really have the difference, D for dialogue. So I'm going to explain everything one by one and make sure the dialogue level is really important, so you either skip or watch full video, it's up to you. So from this SEND framework, let's start with the S, which is for switching the model. Now it's very clear with the statement switching the model, but why we need to switch the model and when we need to switch the model is the biggest thing for you. Before that, let me show you the pricing of each model. I'm just taking example of Claude, but these things will also applicable in any model you're using. See, here we have a Fable 5, the costliest model. $10 per million input and $50 per million output. Who? Then comes the Opus 5, $5 per million input and 25, just the half I can say. Then comes the Sonnet 5, $2, I think it's 60-70% cheaper than the Opus, and $10 for million output. And wait, there is also a Haiku. Haiku is just $1 per million and $5 per million output. But think about this, why we have all these different models? Why not we have just one model and that model can do everything? So remember this, every model has its own power and limitations. If the model is really strong, like Fable, it's very costly. If the model is very cheap, it doesn't have that much power. So it depends upon what task you are doing, switch the model. Let's say I'm working on something which is very simple, like renaming the variable. So I have this very simple task where I need to rename the X with the total from this function. And if I can use Fable or Opus, that will be overkilling. Think about this, like you want to cut apple but with a sword, not with a knife. That's not good. Although sword can cut the apple, but why we need sword for cutting the apple? Think about that. Same Fable, Opus, you don't need these model just to do very simple task. So I can use Haiku, which is very simple, and along with Haiku you can actually have the extended deep reasoning or not. If you use it, it will take more deep reasoning and more token, but for the simple task, why can't just have this Haiku do all these things? So for very simple task, use Haiku. Like you need to commit changes, so just have the commit message and push to the GitHub, use Haiku. Now when you have to use the Sonnet, now coming to the Sonnet, which is extremely powerful model, you don't have to switch to Opus or even Fable for most of your task. I am using Sonnet for 80% of my task because it is really amazing. Now with this Sonnet, you can do a lot of coding stuff. So I do most of the coding stuff with the Sonnet, but for specific things where Sonnet lags, then I switch to Opus, otherwise I never switch to Opus. This saves lot and lot of token because the reasoning and the effort of Sonnet is less than the Opus, and that's what we need for mid-level task. Then comes the model Opus. Okay, Opus is really strong. You can use these tasks when some things are complex. So think about this like database structuring, because you want no leakage in the database structure. If you want to create an architecture design, use Opus, no Sonnet. So these are the high level things where you need a lot of thinking. That's the time for the Opus. Now you will say, hey Sarthak, what is the use of Fable then? Okay, there are many cases when Opus is even not able to perform well. In some very few cases, then only you switch to Fable. But keep in mind, Fable is not available for free users. It's just for the paid and pro. So I'm not talking more about the Fable. So let's keep inside the free level things. Cool. Now you know when to use which model. Opus for extremely important where reasoning, thinking is required. Sonnet for 80% of things. If Sonnet is failing, then move to Opus, otherwise not. And Haiku for most of the simple steps, renaming a variable, summarizing task, committing the changes like that. But there is one more thing which can save a lot of tokens. And what is this? You can see this effort. Now, effort is actually how much effort or how much I can say thinking this model will going to apply for your task. And this thing is the real token saver. How? So see, if I use the max or extra high or medium, these are levels of thinking. So what this model will do, you give it a task, let's say that same task of renaming the variable. It actually think, is this renaming good? Is there any other places I need to rename? Is there any hidden edge case where I need to think about renaming? If you have the thinking or the effort level high, it will do a lot of combination. It will actually judge its own response before giving you the response. And that's where these effort will come. So even with the Sonnet, I told you 80% of time Sonnet is good for you. Even with Sonnet, I work on the low level. Sonnet low is really powerful. Okay, Sonnet low works for everything. But if you want, hey, Sonnet, you need to think a lot. Let's say you want to create a feature, you want to write a script, and you want to proofread something, then you want the model to interview you, ask question. Now to ask question, we need the model to think from different angles, and that's where the model's effort can make real difference. If you want, you can totally switch off this thinking. That's up to you. And this is also a token saver, by the way, but I prefer to have a thinking with the low level for most of the cases. So that's about the switching the model. Let's move to the new conversation. Let's now talk about the E for edit. So see, this is the conversation I was having with my Opus because I want to write a good script for the YouTube video. That's why I switched to Opus. And you know what? What if I want the summarization of this? So I switch to model as Haiku and I say, please summarize the conversation and what kind of script I want. Okay, now Haiku will go over all the conversation and summarize this because this is just a very simple thing. So Haiku is good for me. But then after I get the response, I realize that, oops, I miss one thing. I just want this to straight give me the summary, not all these things, not the philosophy, not the conversation history. I don't like all these things. There is two ways to work on it. I can say, hey, I just want the summary and no other conversation and no other stuffs. This is the one way I can hit enter. This goes to the conversation and say that, okay, the user wants something different. But what I can do, I can use the same thing, and instead of giving a new conversation, I can go here, I can edit this conversation and add the same prompt. See, why is this important? I'm going to tell you once I hit it. So this time it's going to edit the conversation. It's just remove the last response, and now you see we just have the summary, and that's it. Now, what is the benefit of this? Why this is a token saver thing? See, even when you have only given as a next prompt to have something different, or you want the response to be much better or in a different direction, like I want a different direction, just the summary, you are adding two response in every subsequent conversation. So let's say I have this and I want, hey, is it possible to create a skill out of this conversation? Okay, now if I hit enter, it's going to start writing the skill. Now this is going to give me the skill. So wait, let's wait. Now we get the response. Then I realize that, hey, I don't want this script. Okay, leave it. Tell me how the original script was. I'm giving this, and now I'm switching back to the original script thing. What this is actually doing is, every time now I write a new prompt, all the conversation, including this script thing, going to the model every time, which is creating the context bigger, bigger and bigger, using lot of token and cost. So instead of saying, okay, leave it, I don't care, instead of doing this, I can simply head to edit the conversation right here, and I say, I don't want, or leave it, because at this moment the skill will not going to be created. So I hit enter. You see that skill create part is totally gone from the conversation, and now as I move in the conversation, that skill thing, that the file will not go to the model as a context, and we are saving the token. This is so important, a very simple and very powerful skill or powerful tip which you can use to save your token. Whenever you have a file inside it, or some design or image in the conversation, and you don't want to use it in the future, it was just one time and you just left out from the conversation and started continuing other thing, please go and edit that that proper prompt and redirect the conversation, so that the context window will not have any huge thing which will eat the token. Foo. So E is also done. S, switch model. E, edit the conversation. But now is the important for new conversation. Why is that needed? See, I'm working on a YouTube script. That's fine. Everything is good. I switched the model for haiku. I saved the token. I edited the prompt. I saved the token. Now, let's say I want to work on a new script. So, can you please write a new script on the topic of 4 ways to save token in Claude? Now, what's going to happen is, this is totally new. It has no relation with the previous topic. It has no relation with all the script I had written and the edited and every file. So what this is going to do, this is going to add all the conversation, all of these things into the context window, and then pass it out along with this thing. So why you need same conversation for a new topic? Although this is similar, although this is connected, but why you need? Then you will say, Sarthak, because in this conversation, my model or my conversation know what is my style of writing. I have given 4-5 tips to write a better script. So that's why I'm using the same conversation for the next script. But wait, here comes the skill or just a summary thing. That's why I had asked for the summary. You see, we can copy this summary, okay? Then we can go to the new conversation. We say we had previous conversation summary, okay? Then I have this. Now, can you write a script on this thing? So for writing a script, I used to have a sonnet, a high model, so that I want this to think more and have like good kind of a script. So let's see what's going to happen. So this time, although we have given all the things which we want, but not every word, every letter from the huge conversation we had previously. So switching to the new conversation will really going to save your tokens a lot. Yes, a lot. And this is the one thing which I use every time. So what's a better way to use it? Always try to create a new project. Have your style of writing and doing things in the project instruction. Then use the new conversation inside of the project so that your context will be preserved, but you are having the new conversation every time for new things, every new things. So this is the real amazing thing for saving your token. So now we have covered the S, E, N, S for switching, E for editing, N for new conversation, and next is D. D is dialogue. Now see, when we write with the fingers on our keyboard, then one, it is slow. Second, we need to think a lot, and that's why we can't write much. But when we speak, when we dialogue, then the conversation will be more precise, and we think and we speak. But when we think and we write, we change the context. Let me give you the example. So now it is asking me some of the questions, so maybe I can totally skip everything. So this is going to give me the response, and just for now, I'm just say quick response. I don't want the thinking and all that thing. So I got this 6 to 8 minutes of script on this topic, but now I want this to be more having hook, nice hook, a better call to action, and what I can say, body of the script should be connected. So let's start writing. I want this script to have, like, I make the mistake, so I need to edit it to have first. Edit the hook. So see, it's really slow. I don't want to do this. So what I'm going to do is either I can use the inbuilt mic, or I can use the whisper flow. This is a whisper flow. You can see this is a little bit this kind of thing, bubble, pill, whatever it is. And that's a whisper flow. So I prefer to have this mic, which is Claude's or Sonnet's, Claude or Codex mic. So let's start. See this. Hey, the script is really good, but what I want is I want to have a better hook at the starting, so that the hook will be excitement plus energetic start of the script. And what I want is having a proper call to action which will lead to the next video. And in the body, I want every section to be connected and every section land from one section to another section in very smooth way, so that user will not feel a switch between the connections. And make sure the script is very crisp and is not boring. Whoa, I have written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of prompt with whatever coming on my mind at that time. I just have to speak, and everything is there. Tell me, how much time you will need to write all these things, and can you write all these things, whatever you are thinking, from your keyboard? Obviously no. Now with this thing, the real power is, now the model have more context, more information about what exactly you want to do. And that was not possible when you write. So how this is going to save your token? Since model, or basically your prompt, has more description, has all the ideas you want, model no need to assume from its own side. Model doesn't have to ask the question like it was previously asking. So all that thing will gone. And since model know exactly what to do, it will it will start working directly on that direction and not doing a lot of thinking, lot of different trial and error, and saving your token and keeping you within the limit. I highly prefer to use this thing for, let's try this. Let's see what script it will get. But I highly suggest you to use this style of writing the prompt, because obviously this is really cool and powerful way of having a conversation with the models. Cool. We have done all things. The send is finished. But is this the only thing? No, there are a lot of things. But for now, if you apply all these things, even if you are on the free plan or maybe on the pro plan, you will save a lot of token, you will be in the limit always, and you will get most out of the model without reaching or without crossing the limit of these amazing frontier models. Now, tell me in the comment section which one from this send is beneficial for you and which one you think is not available inside it and you want this to share with me. Tell me in the comment section. I read every comment and I reply to every comment. And for knowing more about how these AI system works, check out this next amazing video.